How did we arrive in clown world? This is a crucial book in current times, as the world slips further into the grasp of the radical left. Gad Saad is a professor of evolutionary psychology and weaves the story of his life journey into this explanation of how we got to where we are today. As a child, Gad Saad narrowly escaped the Lebanese civil war within inches of his life. Jews in Lebanon were at considerable risk during these times in a society with a high level of anti-Semitism. And after an incident where a group of men turned up late in the night at his home in a threatening way, he and his family found a safe passage to Montreal, Canada. These early experiences shaped his desire to always seek truth and freedom, and he holds no punches when it comes to criticizing bad ideas. The premise of this book is that there are mind viruses that slowly take over the minds of their victims, removing logic and reason from their positions. This concept derives from other mind parasites that exist in nature, for example, a fungus that takes over the brain of an ant, causing it to perform harmful behavior up until the point where it is entirely immobilized. This benefits the fungus as it can spread its spores more easily to future victims. The parallel here is that once the mind virus sets in to humans, they cause harm not only to themselves, but to society at large. One of his main lines of attack is on the universities. There is an acknowledgement that universities spread both truths and some of the more outlandish anti-truths. In the current climate, where in some fields conservative academics are outnumbered by ratios as high as 40-1 to liberal ones, it is a hostile environment to thinkers who are outside of the norm. In a hearing in Canada regarding one of the bills, C-16, Gad Saad stated that the new laws that were coming in, likely derived from postmodern thought, would actually make it impossible for him to continue teaching his subject, as innate sex differences is foundational to this discipline. This is an excerpt from that hearing.
Should evolutionists no longer explain how sexual selection works, namely the fundamental process by which sex differences evolve? This mechanism recognizes two sexes, and hence it might, quote, disenfranchise those who reject fixed binaries and biological essentialism. Bottom line, foundational tenets of evolution might be construed as might be construed as legal transgressions under Bill C-16. So evolution itself might be a transgression. Ongoing governmental efforts are pushing for a gender-neutral society to cater to an extraordinarily small number of non-binary or non-gendered people who feel marginalized at having to provide their biological sex as part of their profiles. This is the tyranny of the minority. 99% of the population should acquiesce to having a default feature of their personhood erased because a few individuals might be inconvenienced by it. The slippery slope of totalitarian lunacy awaits us. Some are now proposing that racial categories constitute, quote, biological essentialism, and instead we should respect racial self-identities. This is known as transracialism, as per Rachel Dolezal, who was born white but who self-identifies as black.
Gad Saad has also coined the term ostrich parasitic syndrome to describe the burial of one's head in the sand in order to avoid reality, even though he acknowledges that ostriches don't actually do this in reality. One example is how Bill Nye the Science Guy has created an association between Islamist terror attacks and global warming, rather than anything connected with doctrine. Another example is the haters of J.K. Rowling, who states biological facts about men and women, such as only women can menstruate. To attempt to cancel someone who is following biology is a result of our journey into postmodern thought. Gad Saad also highlighted the work of the trio of troublemakers James Lindsay, Helen Pluckrose and Peter Boghossian, who hoaxed the academic publishing industry by creating a series of papers that embodied the woke movement. All carefully constructed along the lines of race, gender and sexuality, these papers fooled the publishers into thinking they were real works of academic rigor. One of the papers actually reworded Mein Kampf along the lines of feminist theory, The title being Our Struggle is My Struggle, Solidarity Feminism as an Intersectional Reply to Neoliberal and Choice Feminism. The point here being the idea of consilience. The more consilient a subject, the clearer the right and wrong is within that subject. For example, in mathematics, you almost always have a correct answer and an incorrect answer. The further you go down the road of grievance study subjects, the more subjective the thought process, which opens it up to a greater level of ideological influence. These subjects lack consilience, and due to their lack of scientific rigor, the activists have resorted to a cancel culture that silences critics, as they cannot defeat them through logic and reason. In short, Professor Saad has taken us on a journey from his own childhood into the modern-day world, how we must activate our inner honey badger to fight against bad ideas, and how we have arrived in a time and place that is often referred to as Clown World.